ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाखया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So here we are seeing Kashyapa Muni is addressing his wife as the better half of the man's body. Yamahur atmanohi ardham. Yam means the wife, Ahu means it is said. So it is said that wife, Atmano, for the body, Hi ardham, she is considered to be the better half of man's body. Actually, we can see this concept of wife being considered better half of man's body. It began with Brahmaji himself. When Brahmaji contemplated, first he created men. But then when he saw and when he created that men were unattached and they had no attachment for living in the material world or to increase population, anything like that. So then from the same body he created woman. That's why half of the body of the men, the better half, is considered to be the woman, which helps the men in begetting children, progeny, and children are required to perform varieties of sacrifices, and gradually the person can become disentangled from this material life. So Kashyapa Muni is addressing his wife as Atmanohi Ardham, better half. In Hindi also, in Sanskrit, it is said Ardhangini. Ardhangini means the better half of men's. Why she is called as better half is also addressed by Kashyapa Muni. Sometimes people misunderstand. They think the wife is called as the better half because the man can satisfy his desires from the wife and thinks that wife is like a machine and I should gratify my senses, I should satisfy my desire from the wife. That is not the reason why she is called the better half. She is called the better half Shreyas Kamasya Manini because she helps in performing religious welfare duties of the husband. So Prabhupada says in the purport, by the Vedic injunction, the wife is accepted as the better half of the man's body because she is supposed to be responsible for discharging half of the duties of the husband. So wife is called Ardhangini because she is supposed to be performing half of the duties of the husband. When a person is brahmachari, then he is supposed to perform all his duties by himself. When a person gets married as a grahastha, the wife takes up half of the responsibility of the husband. This has to be understood very clearly. This is the meaning of Grahast Ashram. So Grahast Ashram is not exactly meant for sense gratification. The difference is this: In a brahmachari life, the devotee takes the responsibility solely to fight with Maya and come out victorious. In Grahastha life, it is a cooperation of two people fighting together against the Maya and coming out victorious. So wife has to take the responsibility for advancement in spiritual life. This should be understood very clearly. The Grahastha life is not meant for sense indulgence. It is mutual cooperation for advancement in spiritual life. This is the meaning of Grahastha ashram. So, then Prabhupada further explains, family man has responsibility to perform 5 kinds of sacrifices. So just like a brahmachari, he has his method of sacrifices for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He sacrifices his hearing, he sacrifices his sense enjoyment. When we say one sacrifices hearing, means he hears nothing except Krishna consciousness. When we say one sacrifices his sense of seeing, means one is not interested in any more seeing with his eyes sensual objects. He is only interested in seeing Krishna and things related to Krishna. Even when we see anything material, we see it with a connection with Krishna. When a devotee sees even a wealthy man or a wealthy house, he sees that in connection with Krishna, that how this person, his wealth can be utilized in the service of the Lord. So for brahmachari, there is a different method of sacrifice or renunciation. For a grahastha, it is different. So for grahastha, this is for the Vedic grahasthas. In grahastha life, in the Vedic times, what they would do, they would perform pancha yagna. They would perform 5 different kinds of sacrifices. So wife was supposed to help in these different kinds of sacrifices. A family man has a responsibility to perform 5 kinds of sacrifices called pancha yagna. Why this pancha yagna was performed? In order to get relief from all kinds of unavoidable sinful reaction incurred in the course of his affairs. As a grahastha, the person has to carry out many of the duties. Knowingly or unknowingly, he will be performing varieties of sinful activities. Say for example, brahmachari doesn't require to cook. Brahmachari is just supposed to go and beg alms from different houses. So he would go and he would beg some chapatis from here and there, some fruits, like that. And then, that is how he used to partake. Just like in one of the classes we were hearing, that the brahmachari is supposed to reside in the ashram of the Guru. And for what? Gurur hitam. It is not for his personal gratification. He resides in the ashram of the Guru for Guru hitam. Prabhupada gives one wonderful example. What is brahmachari life? He says the brahmachari goes and begs alms from grahasthas, and after he brings, he should not think that now I can partake and I can eat it away. He should offer everything to the Guru. And then it is described very clearly in Bhagavatam. If the Guru orders the disciple that, Ness, now you must be hungry, now you also take prasadam, you also take the remnants. Then the disciple takes. If by chance the Guru forgets to tell the disciple, to tell the brahmachari that you take prasadam now, he is supposed to fast the whole day. So that is different. We can see the different responsibilities for grahastha ashram, different activities for brahmacharis. In the Vedic society, that is how the system was there. So brahmachari was not doing any business. Brahmachari did not have to run some business shop, some factory or something. Brahmachari did not have some customers where he is selling and he's telling that you are my good friend, so I am selling this to you at a very reasonable price. So, when he was not involved in such kind of worldly activities, there is no question of incurring sins like that. But for a grahastha, when he has to when he has to make his living, he has to have a business, he has to have a land, he has to have a kitchen where he can cook food for himself and he can cook for others, isn't it? So in the course of his daily activities, so many sins, knowingly and unknowingly, will be committed. He has to speak lies. If a businessman is truthful, this is 5 rupees and I am selling you for 6 rupees, he will not take, the customer will not take. He has to tell, I am selling you at the cost price, 6 rupees is my landing price. Isn't it? You are my good friend. You are a charitable organization. So I am giving you at cost price. If the businessman doesn't tell like this, then he will not be able to earn any profit. So by telling lies, he is incurring sin. So in order to lead his life, in order to get rid of those sins, he has to perform sacrifices. So in Vedic time, the Grahastha had to perform varieties of sacrifices. Prabhupada explains here, they had to perform Pancha Yagna, these 5 kinds of sacrifices, so that one can get rid of the sins he has committed in his day-to-day life. And what was the wife's responsibility? She would help the husband in performing these spiritual duties. This is very important. One should very clearly understand, if you want to enter into Grahastha life, it is not that I want to satisfy my senses, so let me accept a wife to gratify my senses. That is not the idea. The idea of entering into the Grahastha life is very clear. It is with mutual cooperation, we will advance together in spiritual life. That is the idea. That is why she is called Ardhangini. You see? When we say that the wife reaps the benefit of husband's spiritual activities, it is not just reaping the fruit. She also has a responsibility in performing those activities. Then she is reaping the fruit. So she is Ardhangini not only in sharing the fruits of the husband, she is also Ardhangini in carrying out the responsibility of household life. You see? So in both ways it has to be understood. So one very important thing is, one has to understand, wife is not a machine where one should think, she is meant for my sense gratification, so let me satisfy my senses and dump her. That is not the idea of a Grahastha life. Prabhupada says that is cats and dogs life. That kind of life where a person is thinking that wife is like a machine for gratifying my senses, that is actually cats and dogs life. That is not Grahastha life. So Prabhupada is very clearly saying, when a man becomes qualitatively like cats and dogs, he forgets his duties in cultivating spiritual values, and thus he accepts his wife as a sense gratificatory agency. So he is accepting the wife as a sense gratification object. She is meant to just gratify my senses. That's all he thinks. No. Wife is actually meant for mutual cooperation to benefit each other in advancement in spiritual life. That is the whole idea. And then Prabhupada explains what is the difference. What do we understand? Wife is not accepted as sense gratificatory machinery or agency. Means one is not attached to wife in consideration of physical beauty. What is most important thing when it comes to the picture of sense gratification is, my wife is beautiful, she will be able to gratify my senses, right? So Prabhupada says there is no question of personal beauty. Prabhupada also said that when he was planning to get married, when his father wanted him to get married, then the father, Prabhupada's father searched out some good family and he wanted. So when Prabhupada met the wife, he was not very happy in the terms of personal beauty. And Prabhupada said that, he did not want to get married. But then Prabhupada's father convinced him and explained to him that actually Grahastha life is not meant for so-called beauty of the wife. And actually, even if your wife is not beautiful, please understand that will be the cause of your spiritual advancement. Isn't it? So, Prabhupada says, sense gratificatory life means when one only considers the personal beauty of the wife and how much she is able to gratify my senses. When she is no more able to gratify my senses, then divorce. Look for somebody else. That is not Grahastha life. So very nicely Prabhupada is explaining, when wife is accepted as sense gratificatory agency, personal beauty is the main consideration. As soon as there is break in personal sense gratification, there is disruption or divorce. When husband and wife aims at spiritual advancement by mutual cooperation, there is no consideration of personal beauty or disruption of so-called love. Very important. Love is naturally there. The husband loves the wife loves the husband, the family loves their children. That is a natural love. That is out of duty. That love is clearly out of duty. That love is now not out of personal sense gratification, out of skin. It is not out of skin disease, Prabhupada says. Skin disease means I love your skin as long as you are beautiful, as long as you are able to gratify my senses. Then I love you, otherwise I don't love you. That is not love. Actually, in the material world, there is nothing called love. Prabhupada explains, husband and wife are attached to each other in the manner of understanding that actually they are attached to the Lord. Even living in the household life, husband and wife are attached. Prabhupada gives the example, very wonderful example. One hand is attached to another hand, not directly. One hand is attached to another hand through the body. So husband is attached to the wife, not directly in that sense. He is attached because he loves Krishna, she loves Krishna. In that way, one is attached to another. Otherwise, what is the use of maintaining husband who is a crooked or wife who is crooked, who is not interested in spiritual life? That one should understand. So, that attraction between husband and wife or children is based on centrally loving Krishna. That is spiritual life. So, that is what Prabhupada is explaining here. When husband and wife aim at spiritual advancement by mutual cooperation, there is no consideration of personal beauty or disruption of so-called love. In material world, there is no question of love. Marriage is actually a duty performed in mutual cooperation. So very important. Love is towards Krishna. Husband is also loving Krishna, wife is also loving Krishna, and husband and wife are teaching children also to love Krishna. That is the most important thing. And what is the meaning of marriage? It is, marriage is duty performed in mutual cooperation as directed in the authoritative scripture for spiritual advancement. Therefore, marriage is essential to avoid lives of cats and dogs. In that sense, marriage is essential so that one can avoid the life of... What is the meaning of cats and dogs? They don't get married. They still have sex life. Human life is not like this. If one wants to advance in spiritual life, and if one is thinking that it is difficult for him to remain brahmachari, one should get into the grahastha ashram. Sometimes this question is lingers, and many devotees sometimes we find it difficult to take a decision, right? Whether we should remain brahmachari or we should enter into grahastha ashram. So here there is a very important instruction given by Prabhupada. So this instruction can serve as one of the very important influence for us to decide whether one should remain brahmachari or one should enter into grahastha life, or one can take sannyas, whatever. It's a very important thing. Prabhupada gives the example from the life of Gajendra. It's a very interesting instruction we can see there. So Gajendra, what happened was, Gajendra was one day with his family, with his relatives, with his friends. Gajendra, an elephant, he was enjoying in the lake, in the water. So they were sprinkling water on each other and they were thus enjoying. Gajendra was very, very, very strong, very powerful. And, he was practically having that ego of being a very powerful elephant. Thousands of elephant strength he had. So very, very powerful. So they were all, in that water and in a playful mood they were playing. Then suddenly, in that water, one crocodile appeared. And it caught hold of one of the feet of Gajendra. And then all the others, immediately when they saw the crocodile approaching, all of them just got away from that water and they all went on the bank. Then Gajendra was left alone in that whole water. And then Bhagavatam explains, for 1,000 years, Gajendra was fighting with crocodile to come out of the grip of crocodile. You see? And then Prabhupada, Bhagavatam explains this, and Prabhupada very beautifully explains. The scenario was, Gajendra was powerful on the land. Elephant is powerful in the land. Crocodile is very powerful in the water. Crocodile may not be very powerful on the land, but in the water, crocodile is very strong. In the water, Gajendra, as an elephant, he was not very strong. Even though on the land he was very strong. So what was happening, for thousands of years when they were fighting in water, the problem was, crocodile, he was gaining strength. How he was gaining strength? He was in the water, food was available for him, and because he was holding the feet of Gajendra and he was drinking that blood, he was feeling more and more strength. But Gajendra, in his fight, he was fighting. Till whatever strength he had, he was fighting. But he was not able to get any more strength. Why? He was not able to get food at all. Body became weak. If body becomes weak, mind also becomes weak. You can see this. Sometimes when we are fasting and when the body is weak, when the body is not healthy, then our mind also, our determination, everything becomes weak. We are not able to chant our rounds also. So, when body became weak, his mind also became weak, his senses also became very weak. And thus he was practically on the verge of giving up the fight. On the other hand, crocodile, his strength was increasing more and more, being in the water. His mind was very strong, because he was getting food. So once he is getting food, his mind is becoming strong, determination is becoming strong, senses are strong, he is gaining the strength. So crocodile was becoming strong, Gajendra was losing the strength. And practically he was on the war and he was about to be defeated. There, Prabhupada gives a very, very important understanding. There Prabhupada explains what lesson we should take from this fighting of Gajendra and the crocodile. Prabhupada says, similarly, we are all declared a war against Maya. Just like Gajendra is fighting with crocodile, we all have also declared war against Maya. Crocodile is very strong. Similarly, Maya is very strong here. You see? So Prabhupada says, if you have to fight the crocodile, if you have to fight the Maya of crocodile, then you cannot be in a position like Gajendra. You will not be able to fight. You will lose. If you are not able to get that strength in that position, what will happen? Mind will become weak, senses will become weak. So Prabhupada is saying, in our fight with Maya, let us not be in the position like Gajendra, where we lose our strength and give up to the crocodile of Maya. So very beautifully Prabhupada explained. So what Prabhupada says is, we should change our situation. In one position, if we are not able to fight Maya, let us change our position and then with the same strength again fight with Maya. Very instructive. So Prabhupada says this. Now from this we may take lesson that in our fight with Maya, we should not be in a position in which our strength, enthusiasm and senses will be unable to fight vigorously. This should be our consideration. Am I in a position where my strength is reducing, my enthusiasm is reducing, and my senses are no more strong and I am not able to fight Maya vigorously? Because until and unless we fight Maya vigorously, we will not be able to win. It's a war we have. Prabhupada says we have declared a war against Maya. This is a kingdom of Maya. In the kingdom of Maya, we have declared war against Maya. We have to fight very vigorously. So then Prabhupada says, our Krishna consciousness movement has actually declared war against illusory energy, in which all living entities are rotting in a false understanding of civilization. And then Prabhupada is saying, actually, Maya is there, we are fighting war. And then Prabhupada is saying, we are all soldiers fighting this Maya. The soldiers in this Krishna consciousness movement must always possess physical strength, enthusiasm and sensual power. So Prabhupada is comparing, we are all like Gajendra fighting against Maya. So we should always possess physical strength, enthusiasm and sensual power. To keep themselves fit, they must, this is very important, to keep themselves fit, they must therefore place themselves in a normal condition of life. Don't be in water and fight with Maya. In normal condition of life, you be there, then you can declare war against Maya, you will be able to win. Not in abnormal condition. So Prabhupada is saying here, to keep themselves fit, they must place themselves in normal condition of life. Now, next Prabhupada explains very, very important thing. This should be our decision factor. What constitutes a normal condition will not be the same for everyone. It is not that this devotee has taken to Grahastha ashram, let me also enter into Grahastha ashram. Another senior devotee, he has taken to Grahastha ashram, let me also take to Grahastha ashram. That is not at all the way one should decide. Prabhupada is making it very clear. One condition is different for another. For crocodile, the condition in water was strong. For elephant, the condition in the water was not strong. He was not able to fight. Crocodile was gaining strength in water, so his position was better there. Elephant's position was not better in the same water. His position was strong somewhere else. This has to be understood. So somebody's position can be strong as brahmachari. Somebody's position can be strong as grahastha. This has to be considered on individual strength. So Prabhupada is saying, what constitutes a normal condition will not be the same for everyone. Therefore, there are divisions of varnashrama, brahmana, kshatriya, vaishya, shudra, brahmachari, grahastha, vanaprastha, sannyas. And then Prabhupada is saying, especially in sannyas, it is not advised. Especially in Kali Yuga, it is not advised. So Prabhupada is saying it is dangerous water. Don't go into that water. You see? Especially in Kali Yuga, it is advised no one takes sannyas. Then Prabhupada is saying, From this we can understand, in this age, sannyasa ashram is forbidden. Why? Because people are not strong. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed us an example in taking sannyas at the age of 24 years. Even though he took sannyas at 24 years, then Prabhupada explains, even Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya advised Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to be extremely careful, because he had taken sannyas at an early age. So Prabhupada is saying, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed with his example, even though he took sannyas, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya advised him, you have taken sannyas at very early age, be very, very careful. Then Prabhupada is saying, for preaching, we give young boys sannyas, but actually it is being experienced, they are not fit for sannyas. This is Prabhupada is writing in the purport. See, Prabhupada is writing in that purport, that for preaching purpose, we have given sannyas, but actually we are seeing they are not fit for being a sannyasi. Then Prabhupada is saying, there is no harm. However, if one thinks he is unfit for sannyas, if he is very much agitated. So let us say Prabhupada is saying, I have given you sannyas for preaching purpose, but he is not fit for sannyas, and he finds himself, I am not fit for sannyas. So even for sannyasi, Prabhupada is saying, there is no harm. If he is agitated, he should go to the ashram, namely the grahastha ashram. That one has been found to be weak in one place does not mean he should stop fighting the crocodile of Maya. So if one is found to be weak in one direction, as a brahmachari, if one is found to be weak fighting with Maya, he should not think, I should lose my strength, I should give up Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada is saying, let him take another position, another condition, and same with the same spirit, fight with Maya. That one has been found to be weak in one place does not mean he should stop fighting the crocodile of Maya. And then Prabhupada says, of course, the most important thing, what Gajendra did in any condition was, took shelter of Krishna. One should take shelter of lotus feet of Krishna, as we shall see Gajendra do. If sannyasa is not suitable, one may enter the grahastha ashram and fight Maya with great strength, but one should not give up fighting and go away. So, even in grahastha ashram, one has to depend on Krishna. Prabhupada is saying that even though he was weak, what did Gajendra do? He surrendered to the Lord. So, Prabhupada is saying, we take some practical step. We are not able to fight in this position. You go to another position, fight with Maya, and take shelter of Krishna. That should be the idea. So, this is what we can see here about in today's verse, the grahastha ashrama, the one side of grahastha ashrama is being discussed. And as we saw, Prabhupada explains that for different candidates in Krishna consciousness, depending upon the individual strength one possesses, one should decide, one should see which ashrama is better for him. Like in one of the classes we had also seen earlier, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never criticized if somebody was a proper grahastha. But if one was a sannyasi and he is taking the dress of a sannyas, but if he was still attached to sensual enjoyment, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so stern that he rejected Chota Haridas from his company. And Prabhupada is saying that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he saw the wife of Shivananda Sen, and then he asked Shivananda that your wife is pregnant, what name do you want to keep for your child? So even though Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is talking and very respectfully talking to Shivananda Sen, he is not criticizing Shivananda for that. But when we see the example of Chota Haridas, who was supposed to be a sannyasi, but he was attached to sense gratification, looking at women, all those things, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not tolerate that. So Prabhupada explains in that purport that one should not be a hypocrite. If one is agitated and if one is not able to perform sannyasa as an ashram, better he should take to grihastha ashram. So depending upon one's position, one's individual strength, one should decide upon which ashrama is suitable for one to advance in spiritual life. So we'll stop with this. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.